I thought Adam Schiff was the sleaziest member of Congress, but I'm starting to reevaluate that because Adam Schiff is just a puppet, it appears. He's the worst. He's a spineless jellyfish. But Pelosi appears to be the one really pulling the strings. Here's Nancy Pelosi suggesting what they're going to do in phase 4. And at this point, it doesn't, I mean, they're just printing money, folks. It might as well go to phase 6,000 at this point. I mean, if you don't think inflation matters, you can just print like 30 trillion. What's the difference at this point? Of course, that's dumb. And we're going to find this all out the hard way as your life savings is inflated away. But again, sometimes Democrats and liberals and rhino Republicans who don't understand economics have to be hit over the head with a shovel, economically speaking, before they figure out that what we're doing right now is really dumb. But here's Pelosi talking to the hapless Joy Reid from MSNBC and suggesting that the next step here, Joe, is in this legislative disaster we're going through right now, is to actually release prisoners. Yes, release prisoners. While we're locking up people for taking their kids to the schoolyard, we're going to be releasing actual criminals. Listen to this complete absurdity by Pelosi on with the blogging Joy Reid. You know what I mean by that one. Check this out.
There's a concern that this could be a fresh source of outbreak and that there could actually be a disaster for incarcerated people because of this virus. Is anything being considered for the next bill to deal with that?
Well, in our caucus, we are very devoted to the Gospel of Matthew. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was homeless, you sheltered me. When I was in prison, you visited me. And so this for us is a part of our value system. And especially under leadership of our Congressional Black Caucus, Karen Bass, Barbara Lee, and others, there has been a real focus on this. We will have language being developed by the Judiciary Committee to have some order and clarity so that some people can leave who really don't need to be there, but some clarity because what the administration is doing is confusing and not clear, but it must be addressed. It must be addressed. It's so very, very sad, but again, a priority for us.
So this is, just to be clear, the late-term abortion supporting Nancy Pelosi quoting the Gospel of Matthew, which is, again, you want to talk about hubris? One other point on this before I get to the actual substance of releasing criminals from prison right now because of the coronavirus, because it may be dangerous to them. Completely ignoring the point, Joe, that releasing criminals back into the population after they've been arrested may be dangerous to us too, but don't worry about that for now.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
You may have noticed something else.
Yeah.
Joe, don't you find it, and I'm not kidding here, this is not me playing like reverse identity politics to get back at the Democrats for doing it. It's not. This is a legitimate point I'm making. I know I can be sarcastic at times, but I'm not kidding. Don't you find it, not mildly, but overtly racist that every single time a Democrat talks about releasing prisoners, they always mention something about being black? Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Well, we're talking to the Congressional Black Caucus. Why? Why are you talking to the Congressional Black? What does that have to do with prisoners? No, I'm not kidding. Nobody mentions, Joe, anybody. What, there are no white people in prison? There are no Asian people in prison? Why is it? Why do the Democrats not get called on this all the time? Why is it every single time they talk about prison, they always mention something about race, and it's always about them being black? Why? How is it? Please explain to me with a straight face. I'm not kidding. How that's not racist? I'm not messing with you. That's besides the point for now, because you're never going to get the media to call out Democrats on their soft bigotry of low expectations and their overt racism in many cases. They seem to think, everybody in prison is black? It's only an issue for the Congressional Black Caucus? Okay. But let me just get this part straight, and I addressed this on Fox this morning. So, number one, you're concerned about the safety of the prisoners. Legitimate. There are ways to handle that. Quarantines within the prison, segregation. We can do all kinds of things. If we have to do getting prisoners at the hospitals when they're sick and do some kind of tent cities to keep them outside. We don't want prisoners getting sick. You don't need to go to jail for shoplifting and die of coronavirus. That's not irrational. That's perfectly sane to take that approach. You don't deserve to be condemned to a death sentence because you were shoplifting or something else. Having said that, you were shoplifting, you were a criminal, and many of these people being released are doing horrible things. So I get it that your concern is about the safety of the prison population, but that's to be balanced against the safety of the general population as well. These people have been removed from because they've committed crimes against them. Now, balance that with the fact that we're all supposed to take the syrup of Ipecac here and swallow the fact that we're discussing releasing prisoners while we're actively out there. In many cases, the videos are everywhere on Twitter of police departments arresting people for showing up on playgrounds in violation of these unconstitutional quarantine stay-at-home orders. No.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud and follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.